Hello, Taurus. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. We are officially 4 months old. That's insane. That's crazy. Please remember to subscribe, to comment, to like this video, as well as check me out on Facebook and Instagram at claire.voyant.queen and Twitter at _Claire_voyant. Please remember that I read energy in and around you. This could apply to you, yes, but this also could apply to your partner. Take what resonates and leave what does not. Please also remember to check out your other placements, such as your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus for more messages and more content. Thank you so much. Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your November 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, but let's jump right in. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November 2020. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Tell me about Taurus. Okay. Feels nice. Tell me about Taurus. Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. We have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. That's very beautiful. We have, it's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And last but not least, we have very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. This is very, very beautiful. Taurus, I'm getting the impression that you were in a past. It's funny. I wanted to say a past commitment, but I bit my tongue. And in my mind, I thought situationship. So some of you could have been in a commitment. Some of you could have been in a quote unquote situationship. But it does feel like whatever occurred in the past might have been a little bit painful and heartbreaking for you. But I feel like you were meant to kind of go through that experience and you were meant to learn from that experience. And once you begin to process and begin to heal and begin to essentially apply what you've learned, it feels like there's something really beautiful coming in. But something can't really come in until you've processed and released the past. So again, we have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment, right? So we're forgiving and we're learning. And then they want you to know that it's safe for you to love, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So essentially, once you forgive and once you learn, like, allow yourself to open up a little bit more, even though you've had a very negative perception of love and perception of relationships in the past. And then something new is coming in here. Something very new is coming in very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Let's pull some animal spirit cards. We'll kind of clarify what's on the board and we will go from there. This is really beautiful though. What's really interesting too is when I was shuffling your cards, I kept getting images of like flowers. Not so much like, roses and like things like that, but more so like wildflowers like you'd find in like a field. I also just saw the dragonfly and the golden egg in the deck while I was shuffling. could be a sign. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Tell me about Taurus. Taurus, November of 2020. Yeah, it's like even like while I'm like shuffling, like I'm really attracted to this like really beautiful and really pleasant like stillness kind of going on in the room. And it's funny with like the stillness going on in the room and kind of like in the space and like with this perception of like wildflowers like in a field. It's just like I feel very like peaceful. I feel like very just at peace like reading for you, which is really nice. And like part of me wonders if like you're in a place where you're at peace, or maybe you are heading to a place where you're looking for peace, but there's like this just beautiful, like peaceful energy about this that I really love. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Okay, Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Taurus, you are the oyster. That is fucking wild because in Capricorn was the oyster. So the same card popped out in the same position for Capricorn. So you could have a Capricorn placement. Your partner could have a Capricorn placement. Just keep that in mind. Your partner is the snake. Beautiful. In your emotional connection, we have the gazelle. And in your physical connection, we have the fire ant. Interesting. We also had the fire ant in someone else's physical connection. I forget which one, however. Let's read from the book. I like to read from the book for you because I think you gain all the information that you need. Let's see. Look at that. I just opened up to the snake. That might have a lot to tell you. Okay. Oyster. Okay, Taurus, you are the oyster. Patient. Secret keeper. Hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they can achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it that you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. I'm really attracted to this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. And it feels like you are withdrawing and you are protecting yourself. I just heard you're protecting your emotional self too, which I think is very interesting. And it feels like it's coming from a past connection. It feels like it's coming from a past relationship. And again, we have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. I almost feel like that's funny. It's like almost like as you release and heal the past almost being representative of this like oyster shell, right? You experience more love, and love is more reminiscent of the pearl inside the oyster shell. You experience more love in your present moment. It almost feels like it wants to like, oh well, sounds aggressive, but kind of feels like we're encouraging you to like pry yourself open, right? And like open up to people. It feels like you're very withdrawn, very protective of your emotional self for a reason. However, it feels like there's a really beautiful connection coming in here. It just can't come in essentially until you open up. So once once you forgive and learn, and once you understand that it is safe for you to love, then I think this new connection is going to come in and it's going to be really beautiful. Let's see here. I feel like that's the peace that I'm feeling. This like peaceful energy, like the stillness in the room, like the stillness, like almost like in the atmosphere, like this like beautiful like prospect of seeing like all of these wildflowers. Like I feel like it's like that's where you're headed towards. Like you're headed towards this really beautiful, peaceful energy that I'm really enjoying. Just a sip of water. Okay, let's see. Snake, which we saw earlier, really wanted to pop out. So let's kind of take a look. This might be pretty important. This is your partner. I do not know if this is your partner coming in, or I do not know if this is your partner from the past, but we'll kind of continue reading about it. Guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from its slumber? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way. Make haste, the snake heart appears when there is no more time to waste. I really think it's interesting that it's kind of speaking on behalf of like unawakened or untapped potential within. And kind of that makes me think of like whoever this person is. I kind of get the vibe that this person is this new person coming in, and this new person coming in very soon, right? Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. It's really a card of manifestation. You might be manifesting this person inward towards you. But it kind of almost feels like you might be manifesting this person in, and it feels like this person is going to be the one to kind of pry you out of your shell, right? This person's going to be the one to help you heal. This person's going to be the one to help you learn. Like it feels like, it talks about untapped potential, right? It talks about like, I want to reread that. It talks about unawakened or untapped potential. And I feel like this person's almost doing that for you, or maybe like triggering it or like starting it. It feels like they're almost like jump starting your car, right? In this emotional connection, we have the gazelle. What a beautiful energy. Too, when I think of like, again, this peaceful energy keeps wanting to come up for me. And when I think of this peaceful energy, like typically the gazelle is a card of like heightened awareness, right? Like hyper alert. But like looking at this card right now, it honestly makes me feel very, very peaceful, right? I feel like the gazelle is just kind of living in this environment of like beautiful natural beauty. It just feels like a really pretty picture. And I feel like that's like ultimately where you want to be, right? Where you want to be for this energy to come in is what it feels like. Let's see. Gazelle. Okay. So gazelle. Heightened awareness and ability. Vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance, right? That's kind of the peaceful energy that I was feeling. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant. And I feel that's very much you at this point, right? It feels like you're very hyper-aware and hyper-vigilant, and you're probably hyper-aware and hyper-vigilant because you're essentially forgiving and learning and healing from the past, right? Heal, heal, heal. So that's probably why that's occurring. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating, right? No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Wow, what a beautiful line. Thinking about, like, again, I just keep seeing this imagery of like a field, like filled with wildflowers, right? And it feels like that's where you're heading. It feels just very serene. And I feel like that's where you want to be. It might really help you to like actually visualize a field filled with wildflowers. My wildflowers are purple in my field. And that might, honestly, that visualization might really help you to get to this point, right? But I'm going to read that again. It's so pretty. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit, right? So that's where we want to be. We want to be in this beautiful, beautiful field, because that's what's going to really bring in this energy, like bring in this beautiful snake energy that's going to kind of help you almost like, that's funny. It's going to kind of help you almost like put the whipped cream on top of the sundae, put the cherry on top of the sundae, right? It's going to help you come to a completion of what you've experienced in the past. And then in your physical connection, we have the fire ant, right? So this is interesting as well. Let's see here. We have the fire ant for someone as well. I forget who it was. My memory is not what it used to be. Okay. The fire ant. Aggression, rigid thinking, and following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few of the indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or a situation, right? Stewing on a person or situation. I feel like that's from the past, only making things worse. How can you break free from the dharma and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. Yeah, that's interesting. This person, I am getting the fact that this is about 3 people. It does feel about you. It feels about some sort of past connection. And then it does feel some sort of about like a future connection, right? And they're very different energies. Everyone's a very different energy. And I feel like this fire ant energy also too, like, you know, I when I think of fire ants, I think of like, this card really resonates to me with like the bumblebee energy as well. And so I do think sometimes this appears when it's like, there's like a teamwork aspect to this card. So the person you could be quote unquote like stewing on from the past you could have been working with them. You could have been going to school with them. There could have been like a project or something that you were working together towards. It feels like it was like almost like a teamwork aspect to it. So that is a possibility. It's not necessarily like a fact, but I feel like that's coming through as a possibility. And it does feel like, you know, again, you're stewing on it. It does feel like there's a little bit of anger and a little bit of aggression. But at the same time, there's much more of an energy of like protection, like protecting like my emotional well-being. And it's only until like, you know, we like really focus on how hyper aware we are, how hyper alert we are, and really like focusing on cultivating the beauty that we've built, so that we've worked so hard to build, right? So essentially to forgive and to learn from this past connection, to have a little bit more trust and a little bit more faith, then we have this new person kind of coming in, and it feels like a very beautiful connection. This person might also be incredibly spiritual too, with that snake card appearing. Okay, let's pull some tarot and we're gonna wrap this up. It's funny, like, I just got home from work and it is literally like 12:30 at night right now. I just got home from work, and normally I'm so tired, I'm exhausted, and I just want to go to bed. But I was like, you know, I think I want to read for Taurus today. like, I think I want to read for Taurus tonight. And so it's just kind of odd. It's almost like, you know, it was a little bit of a rough day, and this reading like itself is like kind of putting me at peace, which is really beautiful. I'm just really liking this. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. I hope you enjoyed that Taurus full moon on Halloween. Talk about like what a crazy occurrence that was, right? It was really beautiful, really magical. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Okay. Feels pretty good to me. It's pretty shuffled. We'll give it a couple more just to be safe. Tell me about Taurus for November of 2020. Taurus for November of 2020. Okay. Taurus, in your current situation, we have the 9 of Rods. Okay. In your partner's current situation, ooh, we have the 5 of Rods. Okay. Lot of fire energy already on the board, and this 5 of Rods might be comparable to this fire ant energy. Okay. In your past connection, ooh, we have the Magician. Okay. In your present connection, King of Swords. Okay. And in your future connection, we have the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, give me a moment here. Okay, so we have the Magician, right, which is very Virgo energy, which is your sister sign Virgo. It's also very like Geminian energy. So you could have a Virgo or a Gemini placement, or your partner could have a Virgo or a Gemini placement. Gemini does seem to be coming in strong because we also have the King of Swords here, right, which talks about Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So your partner or yourself could have one of those placements as well. But Gemini seems to be coming in extra strong. Let's see. I also think someone might have a fire placement too, because we have the fire ant, we have the gazelle, we have the 9 of Rods, and we have the 5 of Rods. So there's a lot of fire energy here too, which makes me think that this past connection was very passionate, very energetic, and I think this future connection has the ability to be very passionate and energetic as well, but it reads to me as a little bit more stable, right? Because in the future outcome here, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and we also have the Snake, which is very earthy. So just pay attention to that. Now, we have the 9 of Rods, right, for you. And, you know, the 9 of Rods is the one more once card, right? Essentially, if you were, I always get this image of middle school gym class when you're forced to run the mile. And it's like so exhausting because you're not used to all of that endurance. And so I always viewed this card essentially as like the final lap, or like the final lap, then the final half lap, and then the final quarter lap, and then the finish line, right? It's like so close. It's that like that final hurdle before getting to a completion. It's not a 9, it's a 10. It's not a 10, it's a 9, which means we are so close to completing something. It does feel like you've put in a lot of time, effort, and energy into whatever you've been going through. It does feel like you've been a little bit, you know, beaten and bruised. He has his little like headband on. He looks like he might be a little bit bruised up. He looks a little bit agitated to me as well. Maybe that's coming through again with the fire ant energy. But it feels like whatever connection you were in the past, it feels like it's wrapping up, And it feels like B, you invested a lot of time, effort, and energy. And I feel like C, you might have gotten hurt. You actually could have gotten physically hurt too, which I don't know why that's resonating for me, but it feels like you're more so got emotionally hurt. But it feels like you're honestly right on the verge of wrapping that up and really kind of stepping into this more peaceful energy. Over here, we have the Five of Rods. To be honest, I think these are two people. You know, some of you might resonate with them as being the same person, but I gotta be honest, just like reading this, these feel like two separate energies. The snake feels like a new energy kind of coming in. It's coming in very soon. This Five of Rods feels like a past energy from a past partner. Feels like there might have been a lot of conflict. Again, Five of Rods is very, like energetic, very passionate, right? Very driven. It could physically suggest a physical fight, like a physical fight, which is why that kind of came through so strongly when he looked a little bit beaten and bruised, right? It could suggest some sort of mental fight that you're having in your mind, but I think it was probably a little bit more so with another person, right? There's a lot of conflict here. There's a lot of agitation here. There's a lot of commotion and chaos here. It's like everyone's looking in a different direction. Everyone's saying something different. Like all these wands are like out of control. Like there's so much going on in this energy and it doesn't feel organized. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel productive. It feels very chaotic. It feels very like riddled with conflict. So I feel like in the past, like you might have had a conflict with someone, and I feel like that's essentially wrapping up, but because like it hasn't fully wrapped up yet, I feel like you're still withdrawn, you're still protecting yourself. Over here, I think it was really interesting that I had mentioned like this very soon energy is like almost similar to manifestation, right? Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now, because we have the Magician, which is the card of manifestation, right? He has the pentacle, he has the cup, he has the sword, he has the rod. He's using all of those tools to essentially manifest his own reality and manifest what he wants to see into his life. And so I have a feeling that you have been actively manifesting something. You've been manifesting something. If this isn't the past connection, I feel like you've been manifesting something for a while. Also, this doesn't even feel like just past. This feels like present as well. I feel like you've been manifesting something for a while, and I feel like you're trying to manifest something new in, which is actually coming in. We have the King of Swords, right? This feels like your energy for some reason. The King of Swords is at the top of their game, right? They're a little bit older, they're a little bit more mature, they're thinking very clearly, very logistically. Sometimes they come across as a little bit cold, a little bit detached. And he has that sword up and he's defending himself, right? He's defending himself. Sorry guys, my camera battery died, but I am getting the impression that you have cut someone out of your life. But it feels like it was a good decision to cut them out of your life, because I feel like you were thinking clearly about it. It wasn't a rash decision. It was very thought out. And I feel like the person that you cut out, there was just a lot of conflict and a lot of drama. And it left you just very tired. It left you just very exhausted. But I feel like you're on the right path. I feel like you're on the right track. I feel like you were supposed to do it, is what it feels like. And then last but not least, we have this beautiful, beautiful Seven of Pentacles, right? This person has planted all of these pentacles. Think about the Ace of Pentacles. Think about the Ace of Pentacles as a seed, right? And the Ace of Pentacles has gone through the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, and now we're at the 7, right? And that seed has like flourished, and that seed has blossomed, and the seed has produced all of this beautiful security and stability, right? I feel like this is you. This is you. Like, I just wanted to say Capricorn. I feel like there might be a Capricorn somewhere in this. But this is you, Taurus, right? This is you kind of examining like what you've worked on, what you've produced, right? Was it worthwhile? Hell yeah, it was worthwhile. Did it take a lot of time, energy, and effort? Hell yeah, it took a lot of time, energy, and effort, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I feel like this was a connection that there was a lot of drama. I feel like it kind of left you bruised and beaten, especially emotionally, maybe physically for some of you. I don't know why that keeps coming through. Um, and I feel like it's left you kind of withdrawn and protecting yourself. And I feel like once you kind of forgive and learn, understand that it's safe for you to love, really kind of enjoy this like beauty and this peace that you're kind of cultivating, it feels like what you originally manifested is coming in very soon. It feels like it's coming in very soon. And it feels like it's going to like almost like help you kind of bring a completion to what you've experienced in the past. It's very, very beautiful. It's very beautiful. But I don't think this energy can come in until you've officially done all of your forgiving, all of your processing, and all of your learning, right? Make sure you reflect on this connection. What did it teach you? How are you applying it? How's it going to change your relationships in the future? But Taurus, thank you so much for checking out your November 2020 tarot reading. I really hope this resonated with you, and I will see you in December. Adios.